Hello, we are on 6-3 from the textbook, which is rate of change. And our learning target today is I can identify rate of change and slope using tables and graphs. All right, so some vocab here that we need to write down. Rate of change. This is a rate that describes how one quantity changes in relation to another. Okay, so the change in y over here. Okay, the change in our y value over the change in our x value. Okay, so on here we are trying to find the rate of change from this table. And so we look and see how each side changes. So we look at the money and we're going $40, $80, $120, $160. So each one of those is changing by adding 40. And then on the other side, the number of cars that are being washed, 5, 10, 15, 20, it is going up by 5. On here, the table shows the amount of money a booster club made washing cars for a fundraiser. So we're going to use the information to find the rate of change in dollars per car. So how much does it cost to wash each car? Or how much it changes with each car. Okay, so we look and say we have the change in money over the change in cars. Okay, so that's what we are comparing, because it says change in dollars per car. Okay, so change in dollars per cars. Okay, well, it's going up $40, so that's our change in dollars. And the change in cars, it's going up by 5 cars. Now, if we write this as a unit rate, again, we divide both of these by the denominator. So that tells us that it's changing $8 per one car. So that means that the number of dollars earned increases by $8 for every car that is washed. Okay, here's one for you to try on your own. The table shows the number of miles a plane traveled while in flight. Use the information to find the approximate rate of change in, so look here, miles per minute. So that tells us that we're going miles over minutes. Okay. So we have to look and see on here, this is from 30 to 60, it's plus 30. From 60 to 90, it's plus 30. And from 90 to 120, it's plus 30. Now, on the bottom, our change from 290 to 580, I would take 580 minus 290. And it tells us that we are adding 290. Now from 870 minus 580, we have to do it for each one to make sure that they're consistent. We're adding 290. And from 870 to 1160, again, plus 290. Okay, so the miles, the change in miles is 290 miles over the change in minutes, which is 30 minutes. Find unit rate for that. 290 divided by 30. All right. Now it says approximate. Okay. So I got 9 and 6/10 repeating over 1 minute. This is miles. Okay. Now approximate would be, I'm going to round that up to 10. So it's about 10 miles per minute that it is changing. All right, now we want to find the rate of change from a graph. So we have our graph here, the distance traveled on a highway. If we look at it, we've got the time and the distance. Okay, So the graph represents the distance traveled while driving on a highway. Use the graph to find the rate of change in miles per hour. So we look and see how much is it increasing for the miles. So they gave us these points here, 160, 2, 120, 3, 180. So we look and see, well, for the distance from 60 to 120, that's plus 60. And from 120 to 180 is plus 60. And the hours from 1 to 2 is plus 1. From 2 to 3, plus 1. So for miles per hour, we are changing 60 miles. Sorry, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to use these 2 points to show that. So on the top, the change in miles, I'm going to take my 120 minus my 60. So we're taking this point minus this point. And then I'm going to use my x value, the 2 and the 1. 2 minus 1. Well, 120 minus 60 is 60. 2 minus 1 is 1. So it is changing 60 miles per 1 hour. Okay, so we subtract our y value and then our x values. Okay. So here's one for you to try. Use the graph to find the rate of change in miles per hour while driving in the city. So again, I'm going to take these 2 points and I'm going to use those to find my rate of change. Okay, so on the top, we are looking for, again, miles over hours. Okay, so for the miles, that is our the distance, which is our y value. So we take 60 minus 30, and then we take our x value, the hours, 2 hours minus 1 hour. 30 minus 60 is 30 miles. 2 minus 1 is 1, and we are in hours. So our answer is 30 miles per hour. All right, another vocab word for us here is slope. This is the rate of change between any 2 points on a line. So for slope, again, we find the change in x, the vertical change, how much is it moving up, over the change in x, which is our horizontal, how much is it moving side to side. So for our graph here, it's moving up 2 and to the right 1, so 2 over 1, or just a slope of 2. Okay, so we need to find the slope for this table here. Physical science. The table below shows the relationship between the number of seconds y it takes to hear the thunder after lightning strike and the distance xur from the lightning. Okay, so we need to find the slope. Again, the slope is change in y over the change in x. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to pick this point and this point. Okay, we're just going to pick 2 of our points. Now the y, which is our second, so we take 25 minus 10, and we take our x values, our distance, 5 minus 2. 25 minus 10 is 15. 5 minus 2 is 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5 over 1. So 5 seconds per mile. All right. Next thing, graph the data. Then find the slope of the hold on a second. So here is our graph of that. Now we're going to do one on our own down here of how to graph. So we'll graph the data, then find the slope of the line. Okay. So we're looking at water level loss. Okay, so I'm going to put my time on the bottom, on the X, which is in weeks. I'm just taking this information here. And I'm going to put my water loss in centimeters on this side. Okay. So on the bottom we need our, each one of these is worth 1. Okay. And then up the side, again, I'm also going to count by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On here I only went to 4 because we have 4 weeks. And on here I'm going to go all the way, I'm going to go to 7 because we go through 6 centimeters. Okay. So for this first point here, 1 week, so I go over 1 and up 1.5, and I plot my point right there. I'm going to do this in a different color. Next one, 2 weeks, we lost 3 centimeters, so over 2, up 3. In 3 weeks, we lost 4.5 centimeters. And in 4 weeks, we lost 6 centimeters. Connect these points. Okay, and that's what our graph looks like. Then we need to find the slope of that. Okay, so we take the change in our X value, which is our weeks, over the, change in Y, which is our water loss, over the change in X. So I'm going to use these two values. So I'm going to take my 6 centimeters minus 3, and my X value is 4 minus 2. 6 minus 3 is 3, 4 minus 2 is 2. So we have a slope of 3 over 2, which tells us that every 2 weeks, okay, the 2 weeks, we lose 3 centimeters of water. Alright, so you can go back and rewatch any part of this video that you are still stuck on. You can look at the examples in the book. You can also watch the personal tutor videos in your online textbook. Otherwise, head on over and take your 6-3 rate of change NICU at this time.